Hi, everybody. Welcome back to me still trying to get things together. Where I finally got a lighting system up now, but now it's so freaking bright, my head's starting to split a little bit. I am Del Salvador, and this is wowaka, Unhappy Refrain. Let me tell you why this is a really good thing. This is a real good thing. This is for a landmark thing, and a very specific scene. So, wowaka is part of a very select part of the music scene called Vocaloid. And before I continue about that, I have to make a distinction really quick where this, as of late, there's been a lot of news about like AI rappers and AI music artists, that kind of stuff. These are vastly different things. With the AI rappers and all that kind of stuff, what that involves is it works pretty much the same as the coincidentally also trending now, the AI art generator stuff, where you just give this algorithm some prompts and it'll just make a song for you. And when you're talking about music, when it comes to music and what music is about, which is human expression, all that kind of stuff, this zaps almost all that away, and that is the closest to industry you can get. And they might get someone to sing over the track, but the actual making of the music is not done by a person. With Vocaloid, it's a very different thing. And to explain what Vocaloid is, again, I kind of have to explain how it works, which seems a bit backwards, but hear me out for a second. With Vocaloid, what you would do is the studio or company or whatever gets a vocalist, a professional vocalist, and they just record syllables, like they go through A, B, C, abaka, all that. They go through all the syllables, and like vocal fry, inhales, exhales, whisper tones, all that kind of stuff. And then they say, "All right, go home. You're done. Here's your check. You did it. Cool. Good job. Nice to see you." And then what they do is they might put some effects or two on the vocal samples. They might tune it a very certain way. Maybe I don't know, make it a bit sweeter. Make it maybe a bit more treble than bass. Things, just little things, and then they drum up a little avatar for it. Most people know Hatsune Miku because she's probably the most popular. Blue Twin Tails. Most people have heard of her, or at least seen her somewhere. And then they sell that model and those samples as a voice bank, which you can buy and use with the Vocaloid software, like you would FL Studio, like you would, most other DAW stations. And basically, what you would do is most musicians know what a piano roll is. Basically, that but with the syllables. So basically, you would take the syllables in the voice bank, and you would give them pitches and tones, and then you would assemble them into words, and then assemble them into your melody and your vocal track. So let's say if you can't sing because you damage your vocal cords, or anxiety, or you just don't have a good voice, alcohol, drugs, whatever, just don't have anything like that, right? This serves as not a replacement but a substitute. And you still need to write the song. All it is basically another instrument. It's basically like with your guitar, you can have one tone or another tone or this other tone, same kind of thing. You still gotta write the melody and play the melody. You still gotta do that. This is kind of the same thing. It's just a means of execution. That's all it is. And usually, what makes most producers stand out in this scene is the actual tuning of the Vocaloid, because the voice bank can sound. It can be the same exact voice bank, but depending on how you tune it, it can sound really different. And there's even, I guess you can call them patches, where the developers do very heavy tuning, or very heavy editing, I guess you'd call it, where they kind of change it almost entirely. Like Hatsune Miku 4X solid and soft are very different sounds, but it's basically from the same samples. It's the same voice, but one's more powerful and one's more soft and sweet sounding. So with that distinction in mind, Vocaloid is a lot more valid of a thing to exist. And it's honestly a bit hard to find albums. Not that they don't exist. It's more so what people usually do in the scene is this started in 2007, 8, 9, it's around there, right? Late 2000s, and because like if you had the money, a couple $100, like any professional DAW system, you could buy it yourself and create music with this right now. Anyone can do this. And because of that, anyone can do it. Which means if you're not a professional musician who knows how to use it, it's not going to come out well. So when it first came out, that's kind of what happened. It wasn't really going anywhere. And wowaka, among two other groups or artists, which would be Sam Free and Supercell, which is a Japanese band that did some anime openings you might be familiar with, like the Monogatari series. Those three artists kind of set the bar and were able to push Vocaloid, and they're the first people to make music where people are like, oh, this actually has potential if you do it right. And then it kind of flourished from there. And wowaka only has one album, but it's just one. Unfortunately, wowaka passed away a couple years ago from heart failure. So I say all this to say, again, I go back to it's hard to find albums. And that's because of, like I said, it's very, anyone can do it. So what a lot of people do, it's almost like YouTube videos, in a sense, where an artist will create a Vocaloid song and kind of upload it to YouTube or Nico Nico or Bilibili, and it's almost like every song is a single. There's actually not too many artists that make an actual album and sell it as albums. And even then, they usually have a YouTube channel where they upload all their stuff anyways, so there's no reason to buy an album. So depending on a lot of the inner workings of how the artist wants to do their own stuff, there might be an album, like an actual physical CD, but you probably wouldn't be able to get one. And if you could, probably be hundreds of dollars. And my point in saying this is, with this specifically, it's hard to find certain information, so I actually, to this day, don't know the actual official track list, if there even is one. All I know is that in his career, in his one album, or I guess one era, he has a group of about 14, 15 songs. There might be a single or two that's not actually on the album. There might be something that is on the album, and then on a certain website it says it's not on the album, or it's track 2, and then it's 7, and then it's 5. Like, the information is very varied. So I'm just going to go over what I'm pretty sure are all the official songs on the album, and one or two that, like, wasn't sure about, but, like, some sites say it is, some sites say it doesn't. Regardless, this is a hard album to review as an album, because when you review an album, you gotta think about, like, not just do the songs sound good, but, like, how do the songs flow from one another, all that kind of stuff. And when there's not even an official list in terms of order, let alone what songs are actually on there or not, it's kind of hard to do all that. So what I'm mainly going to do is just go through the songs one by one, like I usually do, but not really talk about things like the flow and stuff, just mostly the songs by themselves. First up, Unhappy Refrain, the title track. And what I'll say first is wowaka has its own sound. It's people describe it as chaos and harmony come together. It's very chaotic, but there's still a lot of distinct melodies and harmonies, and because technology available at the time, it kind of has a garage rock feel, but kind of not on purpose. Like, for example, King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard's first album, 12 Bar Brews, was recorded using only iPhones. So it naturally was a bit low quality, and in that kind of had a garage rock feel. And even certain bands in the grunge scene in Seattle, the, part of the reason why certain bands, certain albums sounded so heavy and sounded so raw is because there's a lot of money to hire professional, engineers and all that kind of stuff to record it properly, track by track by track. But if you can just get in a room and just play it and do one take with one microphone, it's cheaper, but also sounds a bit raw. It sounds a bit more chaotic, and that's kind of what this is here. Wowaka actually had a band before this, and it wasn't working out good. And he was like, "All right, I'm gonna do this Vocaloid thing. I hear it's a new thing. If this doesn't work, I'm gonna quit." And thankfully, he did this because this album is full of classics. 10 years after, more than 10 years actually, after this album is released, people still talk about his songs, and it still sounds fresh. And not only not only does his sound still sound fresh and is still unique, but the art style of his music videos is also very unique and very fresh as well. He really knew what he was doing out the gate, and he actually founded, from what I understand, he founded the first record label that was specifically for Vocaloid producers, which is really nice. And I think I mentioned it before, but unfortunately, Wowaka passed away a couple years ago due to heart failure. I'm pretty sure last I checked. Really sad. So we're not going to get any more stuff from him, but that's honestly not too bad because the stuff he left us with is honestly really, really good. And that's also why it's a bit hard to rank this album. Or not rank, but judge it, because certain songs are classics and they're amazing, and other songs are really just okay. But enough just ranting in context to get into the actual songs. R.I.P. Refrain, title track. This is one of those classics. Really, really good. The music video is also really cool. It's more rockish, and the song starts out, it's almost a bit, I won't say local. They have a filter on it, like a background kind of filter, and then it just punches out. Soaring vocals, really amazing stuff, and I don't know if this is all Wowaka or him and his bandmates, because there are certain versions of songs that are album cuts or they're just singles and they're apparently edited and mixed and recorded different. And either way, the playing on this is exceptional. It's very, very good. Drummer is always killing it. Guitarist is always killing it. Bassist is always killing it with some nice, walking bass lines and stuff. Keyboard player also killing it. All of them really kill it. And you have to be as good as they are to do music this chaotic and this on point. Happy Refrain, great song. Rolling Girl, another great song. Another one of the classics. Unhappy Refrain is basically about, from my understanding, about how within the Vocaloid scene, a lot of times songs are framed as song name by Hatsune Miku, not by the actual artist that made it. So the actual artists kind of get foreshadowed by the voice bank that kind of fronts it and performs it, quote unquote, right? And it's about the kind of disconnect. Rolling Girl is very different. It's not as personal. Rolling Girl is a story about a schoolgirl who is mentally ill to some degree. It's not really ever said precisely, but if you watch the music video, they're kind of hinting very heavily at something like schizophrenia, something very similar. A lot of talk of voices in my head and a lot of blurry, distorted vision stuff, that kind of stuff. And she's unfortunately bullied throughout school. And it's one of those songs that sound very, very happy, and it's very upbeat. Let me tell you, the drummer's going off, the piano in the song is also really exceptional, really iconic piano line as well. And the song's really sad, And the song kind of ends interpretationally. There's two ways to kind of interpret the ending. If you watch the music video, near the end, this guy hugs her. And there's a lot of lyrics like, it's fine, I know you're tired, close your eyes now, song ends, etc., etc. It's very powerful. And the two ways to people kind of interpret it, because it's kind of vague, are either she succumbed to her depression, and that boy is a personification of depression, and that hugging her is kind of her succumbing, or the boy is someone who tried to save her and was too late. It can be either or. The song at the end of the day is a bit vague, but killer song. The next song, Doll of Building Blocks. Nice synths. This is one of those songs where it's like, it's also pretty good. It's pretty good, but songs like R.I.P, Refrain, Rolling Girl are classics through and through, and it's not, I won't say they're hard to top, because other songs do top them, but like, when you have a bunch of songs that are as good as those, any song that is just okay feels really bad in comparison. But this song on its own is pretty good. Nice synth stuff, very nice rhythm. I wouldn't say it's like iconic melody line, but it's nice melody. The next song, My Talent, it's okay. Like I said before, and I think I said it before, there's been a couple takes of this. In the Vocaloid Scene, one of the things that makes producers stand out is you have to tune your Vocaloid. Like how you have guitar tones, and certain artists have very famous guitar tones, or you listen to a song and you're like, wow, that guitar is tuned really nice because X, Y, Z, or the tone is fat, or it's dirty, or clean, or whatever. Same kind of thing. You still have to tune the Vocaloids, and certain artists have very unique tunings that sound like them. Like, it's a song they've made because of how the vocal is tuned alone. And Wowaka definitely has his own style of tuning Miku. And on the song My Talent, maybe it's because the track is not as chaotic as an R.I.P, Refrain, and Rolling Girl, but it kind of is a bit more apparent. And the first couple songs are, again, really good. So it's about 10 minutes, 5 minutes for each track about, flies by. When we get to My Talent, it feels longer. Like there is definitely a bit of a dip in how I personally enjoyed it, but it's still a good song. The next song, Picture Frame of Everyday Life and the Earth, I don't really like it that much. There's some real nice guitar work and bass work. It's just not for me. It's just didn't grab me. But maybe someone out there, maybe someone else might like it. But personally, I don't. The next song, Palm of Your Hand, or just Palm, simply. Real nice drums, real groovy, real nice. Better than the last two. I actually haven't listened to this song a lot, and a lot of the other songs I've listened to on repeat for years now, probably good 5 or 6 at this point. So this song, I probably would like a lot better if I had more time with it, but I can tell for sure. It's just I listen to this song very rarely, and I listened to it for the first time probably a couple years, about half hour ago when I was prepping for this review. So it's a good song, but I don't want to hype it up too much. But I might change my mind later and say it's better than how I said it in this video. But it's good. The next song, Standing in Your Way, or Impossible, either way can be translated. Killer track, really killer. I wouldn't say it's one of his classics, simply because it's not as talked about, but this song, Standing in Your Way, is as good as Rolling Girl or Unhappy Refrain. It is just a killer track. Same kind of thing as Unhappy Refrain, where it starts off with these kind of distorted kind of effects, and then it comes in, and the synth player's going, the drummer's going, everything's going. Really good song. Really, really good song. They're killing it on this track. The next track, Lineart. This is one of those songs where you don't have to know what they're saying to feel the emotion. Like with the key it's in and the high note near the end, it's just a really killer song. The kind of wallet noise it has too almost reminds me of something like Swans would do. It's also part of the mixing, but this just push for emotion. It's really amazing. Two-Faced Lovers, next track. This is also one of his classics, like Girl and Girl, another one. Like, this is still, I still hear people talk about it and play it to this day. Really good stuff. Plain, unreal. Like, I think this is one, in terms of, like, plain, this is definitely one of their better songs. Like, the guitar is great, phenomenal, the bass, phenomenal, drumming, phenomenal, rhythm's phenomenal, the, it's catchy, everything's great. Keyboardist doing cool stuff. I'm pretty sure even the guitarist and keyboards kind of do a little Dream Theater-esque solo. They kind of play the same thing over top each other kind of thing. Real cool stuff. And this song lyrically, because I don't know all of them, because I didn't take the time that much to do this. I just kind of rushed this a little, to be honest. This song is basically about a girl who is confused lust and love, and she has gotten someone pregnant, and obviously they didn't really want a child in the first place, so it kind of goes from there. There is a reference to abortion, I'm pretty sure. It's a bit of a darker song. Pretty dark. But again, the sound is great, and it sounds so happy, and it's that distinction. And sometimes when you have a song that's so dark lyrically, and the music is so happy, or at least upbeat, maybe not happy, but just like, like, clearly it's not melancholy, it's the energy's up there. It sometimes can make the sadness of the content and kind of amplify it sometimes. I feel like this is, I feel like this is a good example. A lot of talk of Goodbye, Goodbye Baby, that kind of stuff. And phenomenal song, plain is unreal. Next song, In the Gray Zone, it's alright. It's another song where I didn't quite like it, but it's alright. It's pretty okay. Next song, Out of Step or Deviate, can be translated either way. Again, it's alright. There's some interesting start and stop rhythms. I think around the first pre-chorus, somewhere around there. It's alright. Reversible Doll, next track. It's okay. Again, it's alright. I have notes here because I'm trying to have some relevance of a script, and for some reason I didn't write anything down, but I do remember it was just okay. The next song, World's End Dance Hall. This is another big classic. I do not personally like it, but it is still, in the Vocaloid community, a huge, huge song. And this is, I'm pretty sure, the only song to actually feature Miku and Luca, which is another voice bank at the time. I'm pretty sure it was newly released, and everyone was using it because it was a new Vocaloid and all kind of stuff. The next song, Prism Cube. It's the same as Palm Your Hand to me, where I can tell I like it. I just have to listen to it more to tell how much I like it. The last song I want to talk about is Unknown Mother Goose. And this I'd put right next to Two-Faced Lovers as their best song musically. And Two-Faced Lovers is pretty one-dimensional, at least comparatively, in the sense of it's in one genre, as you expect from a song usually. With Unknown Mother Goose, it starts very rocky, like very chaotic as usual, and there's a really intense build to the chorus, which kind of switches to a very Shape of You by Ed Sheeran kind of sound, and it's a very different shift. It doesn't really sound out of place, but it is definitely a noticeable tone change. I feel like it's done pretty good. It's a nice snare roll into it, and the vocals kind of soar, and then it's just very slow, and then that's kind of the first half of the chorus. Then the second half of the chorus, it kind of builds up again, almost anthemic, and they have this nice, these vocal whoa whoa whoas kind of thing, really nice. Then it kind of drops back into the verse, goes back to crazy funky, bassist killing it, guitarist killing it. Everyone's doing real good on this song, and it's kind of it. That's all the songs that are on this album. It is a phenomenal album, really good. He is, again, there's so much I can say about him, but at this point I'm kind of ranting. But definitely check out at least the classics. At least, like, if you're not gonna listen to all these songs, definitely check out Unhappy Refrain, Rolling Girl, Lineart, Standing in Your Way, Two-Faced Lovers, World's End Dance Hall, and Unknown Mother Goose. Those are all really phenomenal songs. If you have to listen to any of them first, I would say Unknown Mother Goose and Two-Faced Lovers, because those are probably his best songs. But that's about it, honestly. There's not much else to say. This is already a 26-minute video. I'm going to end it there. So, cool. Happy listening, I guess.